Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So we have a potential huge leak here with squat cards. As you're going to be seeing in the background, we're going to have stratagems, warp stuff, just basically general type of rules really, which show off how powerful or, how the squats are going to be working in game. This has appeared over on social media websites like Facebook, Reddit, Twitter. I have no idea where it's come from, who's the source of this, but it's literally over all the social media feeds right now. If anything, this probably shows us how close squats are to releasing. I thought it was probably going to be at the end of the year, but the way like all these cards are done and everything like that, maybe it's going to be sooner rather than later. But then again, when it comes to Games Workshop, they have things planned years in advance, so it shouldn't really surprise you that all this is already printed out and ready to go. Anyway, let's jump in and let's look at all this stuff. Right, so the first set of cards you're going to have seen in the background, these are stratagem cards. I'm just going to basically start from the top row and work my way down. The first one is called Accelerated Response. Use this stratagem in your movement phase when a Votann accelerated unit from your army is selected to advance. Until the end of that phase, add 12 inches to the move characteristic for each model in this unit. Maybe that's for like these motorbikes, all those trikes that we've already seen, maybe. That's it, and of course, more speedy units in the armor. The next one is Ancestral Sentience. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a Votann unit from your army is selected to shoot, or in the fight phase when a Votann unit from your army is selected to fight. Until the end of that phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack at a target that has one more or judgment tokens, again, judgment tokens is something else which we don't really know about, you can re-roll the hit roll. Like when it says judgment tokens, and maybe you can like judge certain people, like the Great Book of Grudges or something like that, and you get more bonuses against it. Well, that's what this is kind of stating here. The next one is Core Buster Fire Pattern. That's a mouthful, right? Use this stratagem in your shooting phase after an enemy after an enemy unit is hit by an attack made by a beam weapon fired by a Votann model from your armor. So again, it confirms that there's going to be beam weapons in the Votann forces. Until the end of that phase, each time that enemy unit is hit by another attack made by the beam weapon fired by a Votann model from your armor, roll 1d6. On a 4+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to normal damage. A unit can only suffer a maximum of 6 mortal wounds per phase due to this stratagem. And the last one on the top row is Cyberstim Infusion. I'm fucking tripping up over my words here. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when a Votann Berserker unit, Votann Berserkers? Wait, a Votann about to get Berserkers before World Eaters? That would be hilarious. So when a Votann Berserker unit from your army is selected to fight, until the end of that phase, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, you can re-roll the hit roll. Next up is the bottom row, and it says Hunter's Mark. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase before making a hit roll for an attack made by a Votann model from your armor. If this target unit has 1 or more judgment tokens, do not make a hit roll for that attack. It automatically hits the target. There we go. More of that judgment stuff coming into play. And the next one is Kin Bond. Use this stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select 1 enemy unit that is within engagement range of 2 or more Votann core units from your armor. Until the end of that phase, each time a Votann core model makes a melee attack against an enemy unit, you can re-roll the wound roll. Next up is Might of Aeon here. Am I saying that right? Obviously not, Valrak. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when an Aeonir unit from your army is selected to shoot. I wonder what an Aeonir unit is. Or in the fight phase, when an Aeonir unit from your army selects a fight. Until the end of that fight phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. Optimized Volley. This is what I'm very salty about, because this makes these guys better Imperial Fists. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a Votann unit from your army is selected to shoot. Until the end of that phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack with a bolt weapon on a modified hit roll of 6, 1 additional hit is scored if the target unit contained 11 or more models when the stratagem was used, then 2 additional hits are scored instead. These damn squats are coming here, taking my Imperial Fist stratagems and making them better. I will not stand for it. I will purge you squats. We have a couple more here. Well, 3 more. It says, Requisition Stratagem in the right hands. Use this stratagem before the battle when you are mustering your armor. If your warlord has a Votann keyword, select 1 Votann character model from your armor and give them 1 ancestral relic. And it's got in brackets, this must be a relic that they could have. Each relic in your army must be unique, and you cannot use this stratagem to give a model 2 relics. You can only use this stratagem once unless you are playing a strike force battle, in which case you can use this stratagem twice. Again, that's in brackets. Or an onslaught battle, in which case you can use this stratagem 3 times. The next one is Bequest of the Votann. Use this stratagem before the battle. Select 1 Thane and 1 Hestia model from your armor. That model can have one of the following ancestral relics, even though they are not a character model: the Grey Crest, the Grudge's End, the Hearth Fist, the Warp Shrike. Each relic in your army must be unique, and you can only use this stratagem once. Very, very dwarfish kind of fantasy names I'm seeing here connected with the Votann, which basically we all thought would happen. Anyway, the next one, Legend of the League. Wait, not League of Legends. There's a bit of play on words here. Someone may be sued. Just kidding. Use this stratagem before the battle when you are mustering your armor. If your warlord has a Votann keyword, select 1 Votann character model from your armor and determine 1 warlord trait for it. Again, in brackets, this must be a warlord trait it can have. That model is only regarded as your warlord for the purposes of that warlord trait. Each warlord trait in your armor must be unique. God damn, this is why I hate 9th edition rules. There's so many words here that just get you, like, I'm confused reading it. I don't know how you feel, but these just get to the point. Do it like 3 or 4 sentences. It goes on to say you cannot use this stratagem to give a model 2 warlord traits. You can only use this stratagem once unless you are playing strike force battle. Again, onslaught battle, etc., etc. What it said for like with the first card. More strategic ploy stratagems. We have Family Loyalty. Use this stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. Select 1 Votann infantry or 1 Votann bike unit from your armor until the end of that phase. That unit is eligible to perform a heroic intervention as if it were a character. Next one is Light 'em Up. It says use this stratagem in your shooting phase after a Votann Searchlight. I guess that is a new unit again. This is like confirming new units or new things from your army has resolved its attacks. Select 1 enemy unit that was hit by 1 or more of that unit's range attacks. This phase, if every unit in your army is from the same league, excluding unaligned units, then select the enemy unit gains 1 judgment token. That judgment token thing keeps popping up again. Next one, Luck has Need Keeps Toils Earns. This is quite a big one. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select 1 Votann Core infantry unit from your army that is within range of an objective marker until the start of your next movement phase. While that unit is within range of the objective marker, that unit automatically passes morale tests, it says here. Unless that unit makes a range attack or declares a charge, that unit can ignore any rules that would cause any actions they are performing to fail. Each time a model in that unit would lose a wound, roll 1d6. On a 6, that wound is not lost. And next to that, we have Mag Riders. Use this stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase when a Votann bike unit, again, I think that's the trike peat things, from your armor is selected as a target of a range attack. Until the end of that phase, each time an attack is made against that unit, subtract 1 from the attacker's hit roll. If that unit has advanced during the previous turn, that attacker's hit roll cannot be re-rolled. All right, this one's a little bit funny one. Newfound Nemesis, because half of it's cut off, but I'll do my best. It says, use a stratagem when a Votann Warlord or something, Ymir, I'm sure it's a Votann word model, from your army is destroyed. The enemy unit that destroyed that model gains 2 judgment tokens. If your destroyed model was a something Grimnir, the enemy unit gains 3 judgment tokens instead. So what it appears to be that these judgment tokens is, again, like I said before, it's kind of like a mini book of grudges, but something else, but it's just tokens now that you put next to units, and the more grudges they get on them, like the more damage potentially you can put out on them. Next one, outflanking pioneers. Use a stratagem at the start of your movement phase. Select one Hernkin. Sorry, I'm trying to say these. One Hernkin pioneer unit from your armor that is more than 6 inches away from the enemy models and within 6 inches of any battlefield edge. If this mission you are playing is using the strategic rules, place that unit into strategic reserves. That unit cannot arrive from strategic reserves in the same turn it's placed into strategic reserves. Okay then, that's kind of technical. Well-ordered retreat. Good. Retreat, you vile Xenos. Well, they're not really Xenos. Use this stratagem in your movement phase when a Votann core unit from your army falls back. That unit is still eligible to shoot this turn, even though it fell back. I wish I could use that for my Imperial Fist. Can I use that for my Imperial Fist? I don't think I can. I think only Ultramarines can do that for Space Marines. Next up, we have some warp stuff. So going straight into this, Interface Echo is one of them. And this is Warp Charge 5. Blessing. Interface Echo has a warp charge value of 5. If manifested, you gain 1 command point. The limit of gaining or refunding 1 CP per battle round does not apply to any command points gained via the psychic power. Next one is called Fortify. These guys are stealing all the Imperial Fist stuff. So this has a warp charge value of 6, and it says Blessing Fortify has a warp charge value of 6, of course. If manifested, select 1 friendly League core or League character unit within 12 inches of the Psyker until the start of your next psychic phase. Add 1 to the toughness characteristic of the models in that unit. Roll 1d6 each time a model in that unit loses a wound. On a 6, that wound is not lost. Next one is Ancestral Wrath, warp charge 6. This basically says Ancestral Wrath has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to the Psyker and roll 3 dice. If that enemy unit contains 11 or more models, roll 6 dice instead. In either case, add 1 to each result of that enemy unit has. Have 1 more judgment tokens on it. For each roll of a 4+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. The bottom ones, Grudge Pyre is the next one. Warp charge 4. Grudge Pyre has a warp charge value of 4. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit that is a vehicle, monster, or character within 18 inches of and visible to the Psyker. Roll 2d6 and add the number of judgment tokens that are next to that unit to the result. If the result is greater than the unmodified leadership characteristic of that unit, the model selected by your opponent in that unit is destroyed. These grudge tokens seem like a very, very big thing, a part of how you're going to be playing these Votann models, and I'm sure we're going to be learning about it very, very soon, because now that this leaks about on the interwebs, I'm sure GW are going to be doing some damage control. Next one is Null Vortex. Again, warp charge 8. It says Null Vortex has a warp charge value of 8. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit within 12 inches of the Psyker until the start of your next psychic phase. Models in that unit cannot use any invulnerable saves. Holy crap, so it just takes away their invul saves. And the last one is called Crushing Contempt. This has a warp charge value of 6. Crushing Contempt has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of this Psyker. Roll 3d6. If the result is greater than or equal to the leadership characteristic of the enemy unit until the start of your next psychic phase, until the next psychic phase, that unit cannot perform actions. If that unit is currently performing an action, it immediately fails. So you can cancel actions. If the result is greater than the leadership characteristic of the enemy unit until the start of your next psychic phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the attacker's hit roll. Anyway, Chaperonios, I'm going to leave it there because that's what I have for now. I put some other little pictures in the background that are floating around on social media. I'm sure we're probably going to get more leaks, spoilers, whatever you want to call them from this. Kind of, amazed that this is hit. At this time, I thought squats were well away, but, it seems like this stuff is going around right at the moment, in this moment in time. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on this. What do you think about it? What do you think about the tokens? What do you think about some of the stuff that I've just read out, or what you've probably just paused the video and read yourself because of my voice? But let me know in the comment section down below, and we can have a nice little talk down there as we always do. See you now. Have a great day, and bye-bye.